Junto Nakatani will vacate the belts by the end of the month and is already planning a fight in the autumn. That is the plan currently now that Junto Nakatani has. Remember, this weekend, he unified the two belts. He is now going to vacate those belts, move up to super bantamweight, and he will be fighting at 122. That will set us up for potentially the biggest and best fight to make in boxing. That will be one of the most incredible fights between Junto Nakatani and Naoya Inoue. That is now on the table. It seems very realistic, but the timeline for that fight is to most likely not occur until spring of 2026. The plan currently is this for Inoue. He will be fighting MJ in September. He will then be moving on into December, the end of the year, and he will be fighting the likes of most likely Nick Ball at 126. That's the plan in store right now. After that, he's going to consider the Junto Nakatani fight. Here's the two things that could possibly happen. Nakatani could move up to 126 and fight him there, or the Inoue will go back down to 122 and fight Junto. That is still up on the to be discussed. We'll see what happens. But here's what is interesting for Junto Nakatani. He's going to have the opportunity now to get at least 2 fights in, if he so pleases, before the Inoue fight. And I think that's going to be huge for him. Junto Nakatani is more than ready to go fight at 122. I think he proved himself this weekend that when you look at that, and Shido was the second best guy at 118. He beat him up real quickly and got him up and on out of there. If he could do that to a guy at 118, I think he's going to be just A-okay at 122. But the biggest advantage I've always given to Inoue is 2 things. One of which is I think Inoue is a slightly better, more skilled fighter than Junto Nakatani is, although that's very, very debatable now. But I do believe that Inoue having the age and having the experience at 122 would always give him the upper hand. If we're talking about Junto Nakatani potentially getting in 2 fights at 122, that could change the story quite a bit. Because it's no longer this guy's making a weight jump and moving up to fight a guy. This is now 2 guys at 122 just naturally fighting each other, and that could be for a very, very interesting fight. If you were Junto Nakatani, what would you do? One of the guys I think would be ideal for him to go fight would be Luis Nery. It's a guy that in a way has already fought, and Luis Nery just now recently agreed to a 5-fight deal to be fighting in Japan. That could open up the doors for him to be fighting Junto Nakatani in December is my guess. If Junto Nakatani wants to return as he already has planned for the fall months, autumn months, then he could go fight somebody else. I'm not exactly sure who would be on the table at that point in time, but still, Luis Nery is the guy I would be targeting for Junto Nakatani. I think if he gets that fight underneath his belt, it could make for a much more intriguing fight against Naoya Inoue. But here's the thing, let's just talk about this. If this fight does end up going down between Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani, most likely around May of 2026, we have to realize the magnitude of this fight. Very rarely do you have 2 guys that are domestic fighters from the same country that are both top 10 pound-for-pound fighters able to go out there and fight each other. That's the situation that's currently being built up right now in Japan. You look at big fights, whether that be a Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, 2 massive domestic fights. Obviously, they have the heavyweight title. I think that still is the biggest fight to make. But even a lot of these other stories, very rarely, even as good as Bivol and Beterbiev is, you don't have the build-up process that you have for this type of fight, where 2 guys are domestically from Japan fighting each other on a massive stage between the top 2 fighters in that weight class and 2 of the top 10 fighters in all the world. This will make for a massive, massive fight. And it's something that we have to look forward to because it could be one of the best fights that we have seen in this entire decade. It could go down one of the best ever. So those type of situations where you're talking about 2 top 10 guys, you don't know what could happen, but it could be for an incredible fight.